All right, welcome back. Just kicking it through a terrific Tuesday, and no matter what day it is, and we have this guy on, it's a terrific day, but it is terrific Tuesday, so we bring on my favorite legal scholar, Jonathan Bell's with us. He's a labor and employment attorney. He's the founder of the Bell Law Group, and JB, I don't know. I called on you because I don't know how to break this down exactly. The big news is the Senate Republicans are taking up debate on their bill, the next stimulus package. I agree we need some more stimulus to keep the country going, keep people hurt. But one of the sticking points is this employee or commercial indemnification, that they don't want people who get COVID to be able to sue businesses. And this has got to be like a panacea for you, because there's, lawsuits on both sides. If you're representing businesses, or if you're representing employees. Break this down for us. What is happening here, Jay?
So, John, in all honesty, they're making really a big deal about nothing. So what they're doing is they're trying to prevent lawsuits against employers or schools or healthcare providers for COVID-related exposure. But in reality, since March, there's been, listen to this, 3,727 lawsuits filed, but only 185 of them, or less than 5%, had to do with personal injury matters related to this category. I know, John, me and you discussed many times in the past how difficult it would be to establish that someone got COVID-19 from one particular place versus the other. So lawyers really aren't picking up on this, unless you're talking about, the nursing homes. Over there might be more lawsuits because those individuals basically stayed put. They're not leaving. They have to be protected. But other than in that setting, there really hasn't been a lot of lawsuits or talks or threats of lawsuits. So I'm not really sure why they feel like they need this protection, other than to show their base, essentially, that, we're doing something to protect employers. So essentially what it does, John, instead of having the regular negligence standard, it increases that standard. A plaintiff suing for injury has to show gross negligence, which is like an impossible standard. And in my opinion, John, it's sending the wrong message, because what does that mean? As an employer, I could be negligent and not have to worry about a lawsuit because they won't be able to show gross negligence. Well, I think it misses the mark, John.
Yeah, all right. Well, this is why, first of all, could you sit back a little bit, because the lower third is covering your mouth, and you look fantastic, so I don't want you covered. But the thing that's bothering me about this is the federal government, and I'm sure state governments, are going to have some guidelines out as things reopen, right? And if there's an expectation, whether it's a construction site, you have OSHA, if it's a local business, you have the New York City, New York State Health Department, right? They're going to have all kinds of rules out there. So I feel like if a business is abiding by the rules, maybe they should have some safe harbor that every crazy attorney out there isn't, one small business gets slapped with a lawsuit coming out of this just to defend themselves, it could put them out of business. So I can understand a little bit of it. But the other thing is, why are people going to open if they have one customer who comes in and accuses them that they got COVID there, and they could lose, I'm just lost on this topic on who they're trying to protect.
Yeah, and John, I understand why you're coming from that angle, but realistically, any established business has general liability insurance. If they do get sued, they don't have to pay for an attorney. The attorney gets assigned to them. And even if there's a settlement, it normally comes out of those proceeds. It's very rare to have employers be self-insured. And in reality, just and I know that you know this, when you file a lawsuit, it's like, filing a lawsuit and all of a sudden it means money for the plaintiff, the attorney, and for everybody. You have to prove fault. You have to prove negligence. And that's the reason why, like I said, 185 claims nationwide since March. So these threats of lawsuits don't really exist. I think this is just more, for again, just to get the word out, exposure, showing that they're fighting for the everyday businessman. But in reality, I think it's just not worth it. It's not a big issue. I don't think again, other than the nursing home lawyers, who are going to probably rightfully so in some cases, maybe not rightfully so in other cases, go after the nursing home depending upon their level of negligence. who lost, these individuals lost their lives, people lost family members. Other than that sector, I don't really see a big, a lot of lawsuits. As a customer, me, you, we go everywhere. If I got sick today, I would have no idea where I got it from.
Well, I could tell you this. I was just had a meeting this morning with a friend of mine who is, getting processed for a government contract to engage in this contact tracing program that they have. And they're actually hiring people, call centers, to get on the phone and call people who had tests, positive or negative. And then part of the process is to ask them, hey, where have you been in the last week? Do you remember who you've been with? Can you look at your Facebook or Instagram? And then maybe that'll refresh your memory on where you've been. And then they're going into the people's Facebook and Instagram and then checking their friend list, who they were with. And there's like a really weird, I would say covert, but it's overt operation to kind of track people here. So the government is trying to find where you've been. And, I'm not surprised that much that you would be coming down on the side of the trial lawyers, because many say that Nancy, many people say that the reason Nancy Pelosi is fighting so hard for this is because she gets a bulk of her money from the very powerful trial lawyers lobby, and the trial lawyers want the doors to be open to bring lawsuits against everyone. Your stats, I appreciate them, and you're always on the money, so it looks like right now they're laying off, but if there's nothing in place, it's not you, and it's not, it's like bad cops. There's only a small percentage of bad lawyers, but I could see, these horrible class action guys out there literally advertising to bring lawsuits against people. I feel like there should be some happy medium that companies know maybe they can buy an indemnity policy from the government that gives them some secondary coverage if their general liability doesn't cover a big case or something.
Yeah, I mean, people like me and you, we can't get bought. If I find that there's something against what the trial lawyers are trying to do, I'm the first to say it. I think that's why we have the mutual respect for each other that we do. But in reality, like, let's say, for instance, someone in my office gets sick, and then all my employees are sick, and they come after me with some type of lawsuit. I mean, understand that just because somebody got sick here, that's only the beginning of the claim. That doesn't mean that I was negligent. For example, if I knew somebody was sick and they were home and I made them come in and I made them come to work without a COVID test, then I could be liable. But at the same token, if someone gets sick here and I send them home and I say, listen, you can't come back until you have a positive COVID-19 test, that, I'm not acting in a negligent way. I'm acting responsibly. So it's not only where you got if you can establish where you got it, that's fine. That's a step in the right direction. But you also have to show that the company or the workplace was negligent.
All right, so I want to tell you something, because I'm terrible at following HR rules and stuff, and I always try to learn from you. Nico had a tummy ache yesterday, and he wasn't feeling well. He was a little nauseous, so he asked for the day off, and I said, yeah, please stay home. Jess and my daughter Ava's interning right now. They handled the show beautifully. So just to be a good employer, I told Nico, for safety purposes, stay home another day, rest, recover a little bit, take another day for yourself. So I didn't force him to come back to work, although I wanted to. I looked out for his health and safety and gave him another day of recovery. So should I make him come? He had COVID at some point, and now he's over it. Should I make him get tested again to make sure it's not a recurrence, or should I just let him come back freely, in your view?
I think you'd be safe to have him test. Oh, wait, hold on. This is Nico. Nico? I know. He's complaining that you violated his HIPAA rights. I told him, no, don't worry about it. I can't take the case, Nico. I can't take
This is tremendous. You're the best. No, I mean, I'm joking around, but I think
in reality, if somebody with these symptoms and it seems like it's affecting a lot of people in a different way, to me, the way that I have and the way I've been advising clients, that if you have someone who's out sick, not feeling well, I think it's the prudent thing to say, listen, take the test. If it takes you an hour or 2 hours to do it, I'll pay you for that time. If there's a copay, let me know. I'll reimburse you for the copay. but I got to see a negative test before you come back. If you do something like that, then even if somebody gets sick at your workplace, you're going to be covered. You've taken your reasonable steps.
Got it. All right. Well, that's why we bring this guy on. Not only is he a great attorney, not only is the Bell Law Group one of the best law firms around if you got, labor or employment issues, but he's also pretty funny, the guy. You know what I mean? He sets up his own gags and everything. You got to love him. JB, thanks for doing some emergency duty with us at the last minute, but this topic, I wanted to try to break it down, and you made a lot of sense of it for me. Thank you.
As always, John, thanks a lot for always having me on and thinking of me, and I'm always available to you guys, 100%.
That's my man. That's Jonathan Bell from the Bell Law Group. We'll take a quick break. We're going to come back with some more cool, refreshing liquid lunch just for you on this terrific Tuesday.